Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
We know what we're there for. We're not there to go to Caesar's Palace. We're there to go get in a fist fight, and everybody in this building knows it, and that's just what it is.
Every day is a great day to be a Trojan, but it's Friday. And you know what that means? It's another Conquest call-in show with my co-host and editor over at Trojans Wire, Matt Zemek. We will not be the last, but we were the first to make you guys the star of this show. All right. You guys, the Trojan family, are running this thing. We're going to give you a couple of ideas. Feel free to run with any direction you want to go. We promise you we'll be here for at least 1 hour. Matt, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I mean, there were a lot of technological gremlins. Apologies for the late start, but like, I don't know, like, are the servers here at StreamYard or are the other technological elements of this place, like, do they want Texas, Michigan to start now? Is that what they're doing? Because like, technology is just kind of going haywire. But glad to be here, and of course, still basking in the glow of that great win over LSU. Hope you checked out my buddy Tim's awesome photo galleries at Trojans Wire. Man, Tim snapped some great photos. Hope you saw that photo of Coach Henny and Jen right there. What a photo by my main man, Tim Prangley. So he was snapping some photos. We posted some galleries during the week. We hope you enjoyed them. Hope you bring your friends along to Trojans Wire. And obviously, you know, we'll have a full coverage of Utah State on Sunday. Also cover Caleb Williams' NFL regular season debut. And then 2 weeks of Michigan coverage. So that's all coming up at Trojans Wire. We're certainly in a good place right now.
Okay, we got our first call. But yeah, before I pull off of this, it's a funny little story. Coach Henny is probably the most, he's just the nicest, most approachable human being on the planet. And I wanted a shot of him with the scoreboard behind him, because to me, I mean, that defensive line played outstanding up against that offensive line who was going to get into a fist fight. If you guys caught the little Easter egg I threw in the beginning of the promo, just gave you my sentiments about you don't go running your mouth, right? You walk quietly and carry a big stick like Coach Henny and his boys did on Sunday. But I was going to take a picture, and no kidding, USC AD Jen Cohen photo bombs, and she hops in. I'm like, and it just made it the picture even 10 times better. So it was just a great picture. I was lucky to be there to grab it. But we have our first caller. Caller, hi, what's your name and where are you calling from? And I'm not ready. Hi, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Oh, good, man. How are you guys?
We're doing great. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Just when you got there's some like feedback issue, or I don't know if it's my phone.
No, we had the same.
Like a robotic voice.
We had the same problem. If you want to try calling back in, there's nobody in line right now. If you want to give it a call back. Sorry, I'm really sorry about that. That happened last week, Matt, where we had a couple calls.
Hey guys, so I'm gonna have to call back. Like the feedback is like.
Yep, we got you.
Terrible.
That's perfect. I'll see you in a minute.
I'll call back.
Yeah, it's just random. It's totally random, Matt. It'll be like one caller will have it and then be fine for like 4 or 5 calls. But we had 2 people last week that said the same exact thing. While we're waiting for that call back, again, number 888-997-4539, 888-99-RILEY. Give us a call. Listen, I love all you longtime callers. You guys are the best. But I really enjoy hearing these first-time callers that call in. It just brings a little spice to everything. But I'm not lying. I'm not kidding when I tell you guys I do want to hear from our regulars as well. So, hey, caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, man, it's Aaron from Indio.
Aaron, sorry about that. I'm glad you were able to get back in normally. I don't know what it is. You can't buy a good phone service these days. What can I say?
For sure.
So what's on your mind?
Yeah, anyways, man, definitely, I mean, obviously we all saw the game and just super excited about, like, the development is paying off, right? And that's why you even see, like, all these recruits wanting to come on a visit, because, I mean, they kind of see it in the field. I know it's just one game, but you can already tell, like, I don't think any of us was expecting, like, this good of a performance on the defense. Like, the defensive line probably was the strength of the night. Like, Devin Tompkins, Nate Clifton, you can tell these guys were hitting hard. technique, like all of that was like amazing to watch, right? So, anyways, I guess the question is for tonight, basically for me is if let's say, because I mean, obviously Dan and Lynn, like give them the flowers, and I think we're just gonna see them get better and better all year long. But anyways, if let's say Dan and Lynn leaves, right? Obviously, we don't want that, but who do you think would replace them on that staff currently?
Oh man, we're not going here already. We just had our
Yeah, out of the gate, after the LSU win, really?
Hey, listen, no, hey, Matt, they run the show. They run. If we're gonna make that rule, if we're gonna walk around saying, we know, hey, listen, we are going to complete, Aaron. We're gonna honor that. Okay. All right. So who do I want, or who do I think?
Who do you think would be the next man up?
So I would say this to give a direct answer. I would say that Doug Belk probably gets moved up. Why? Because then Taylor Mays just gets the keys to the secondary as full-time secondary coach. I think that the alignment there makes a lot of sense in terms of people being in their various roles. Coach Henne just gets to focus on defensive line. To me, that would make the most sense, because you want to keep Taylor Mays on this staff. You want to retain him. You want to give him a promotion, a pay bump, the Mays raise, as I like to call it. Anything to elevate Taylor Mays' place on this staff. And we need to keep emphasizing this. He got this secondary to tackle. I mean, he started the process. Now, we saw this develop and improve even more on Sunday against LSU. But he got this ball rolling, right, with the Holiday Bowl when he was in charge of the secondary against Louisville. We really can't forget that. And he's able to coach these guys full time because of the lifting of the limits on the coaching restrictions approved by the NCAA in the off season. So to me, that makes the most sense. You bump Belk up to coordinator, if D'Anton Lynn leaves, which I don't think is happening. But if he does leave, I think that makes the most sense, because then you give Taylor Mays an elevated presence on this coaching staff. You can give him a Mays raise as the official secondary coach. That makes the most sense to me.
Okay, I'm in complete denial because I have D'Anton Lynn retiring with Lincoln Riley after 6 national championships about 10 years from now. So I'm in complete denial. Your scenario, like I just that's just how I see it. I mean, hey man, Brent Venables was the DC for a long time, and so I'm just saying I don't know. I mean, obviously Dan Lynn wants to move on to bigger things, that's for sure. I'm going to trust the process, because this administration has crushed it, and whoever that person. Here's what I do know. Now that we have people that are in charge that are actually good at what they do. I think that's what Ryan Abraham says. When you get adults in charge that actually know what they're doing, you know what I mean? We have that situation now. And Ryan Abraham at USC Football.com has been saying it for 6-7 years now. And so that's the situation you have with Jennifer Cohen, with support they have at USC now. I don't see us going. I think now also, because of the success I believe we're going to have, if for that were to happen, right? So we have to assume that USC's killing it if he's moving on to better pastures. USC's going to be in a much better position to hire somebody who is elite level, and they'll be licking their chops to take the job this time. So that's where I'd go. I think USC's going to have their pick of the litter. That's not a slight on Doug Belk, but I believe he had his run at Houston and did not work out well. Matt, you probably know a little more about his run at Houston than I do. I'm not saying anything, but I think USC needs. Sometimes schools get in the habit of staying insular and kind of hiring from within. And listen, if Doug Belk, if they do a search and they interview everybody and they say, Coach Belk's our guy, I'm all behind it, because I know whoever's making that decision knows a hell more about ball than I do, and I'm good to go with it. So I guess that's my short, simple answer is I don't have that candidate, but I know the next time around the search is going to be a lot more. It was already, if you listen to everyone, a lot of people were interested in this USC job. If USC is a top 5 team, it's going to be a top national champion. There's going to be a lot of people lining up if coaches go off to better pastures. So that's my halfway answer. But can we not talk about this anymore, though? At least for one season.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I'm sorry, just a comment, because I with Nick Saban, obviously all his if USC is crushing it and they continue to do that, obviously with Nick Saban, he had all these amazing hires and they've gone on to be head coaches. So I'm just saying, like, but that's a good place to be, right? Like,
that's what
they're
happened.
making the right hire. So anyway, sorry, man. Sorry if I deflated people.
No,
but, hey,
no.
man, we're excited. I mean, I hope this staff stays together as long as possible, man. And like you said, 6 championships, it'd be awesome. So, anyways.
I'll just give you a hard time. When I say to you, this is your guys' show, we'll go where you want. I truly mean it. Even if it's a dark place, Aaron. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you for calling in. Was this your first call?
Yeah, man. No, this is my third, actually.
Third? I'm so sorry. Again,
I kind of I've broken it up, but now I've called 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, you gotta call like a couple, like more than that. This old man, now I've got COVID brain.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna take me longer to remember people's names the next couple of weeks. But appreciate you calling in, Aaron. I just give you a hard time. Great question.
Yeah, man. All right, guys. Have a good night. Fight on.
Fight on, Aaron. Which reminds me, Matt, you could be doing a lot of talking because I'm already starting to lose my voice.
I don't mind.
All right.
And by the way, Tim.
Yeah.
By the way, Tim, I would be highlighting some comments here in the chat, but I don't have that functionality tonight. Like, I don't know what happened to the setting here. But anyway.
All right. Let me listen. I'm really out of it, you guys. I'm here, but I'm not really here. I haven't had sleep for like 4 days. If you didn't hear, I caught the virus in Vegas, and I'm back. I haven't had a fever in like 2 days, so technically, I guess I'm not contagious anymore. So anyway, we're going with that. But I feel like hell. So please, Matt, you run things. I'll take a look at the chat right now. And matter of fact, I don't have any banners up. But caller, sorry for waiting. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Caller, you there?
Sorry for waiting. Yeah, well, can you hear me?
Yeah, you need to turn. If you have a TV on, you need to turn that down. That's what you're hearing in the background there. The sound will be off.
All right, I muted it.
Perfect.
You hear me now?
Yeah, now you won't have that echo. How you doing? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is John Cancilla, and I actually met you guys through watching USC J's platform, and now I'm stuck watching both of you guys. I have a quick short answer for that kid who called. Well, Pete's going to be on campus, and if we need a defensive coordinator. Anyways, enough of that. I just want to say, as a longtime SC fan, it was just a thing of beauty. I loved the way they were hitting, just the sound of pads cracking and people getting knocked back. And these weren't, these were tough, good football players that they were hitting. They were hitting. And, I just loved it so much. I mean, I almost cried when they had that goal line stand. I go, okay, that's it. We're back. SC is SC again, and I personally, I guess I'm a homer because I always think we're going to be at least 10-2 and that we should win every game. But I just want to thank you guys for the work that you do. And I think the sky's the limit for this team. I personally think we can win the Big Ten and go a long way in the playoffs. So, but I don't want to jinx it, but I'll just leave it at that. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
I think that if you remember, so you say you've been watching us for a while. By the way, I recognize the name. I thank you I've seen your comments in both USCJ and our videos. So I really appreciate that. But if you've been watching for a while, you heard what I said. I said, I'll let you know early in the third quarter. And it's kind of weird that I said that, because if I would have given you a prediction at that point, I was really impressed with the defense, but I was kind of concerned about the depth. Because I said, hey, look, we put all this size. How well can we carry this size? How well are we ready? How are we looking late in games? And it started to look like, but it wasn't. It was actually a false. They didn't wear down. They got stronger literally as the game went on. So I really honestly think that the LSU offense saw something, took advantage of some things, but I think that SC and Danton Lynn corrected that and shut it down. I don't think it was a situation, Matt, that it was where USC is getting worn down. I actually thought, and by the way, Bear Alexander did not play a whole lot of snaps. So there were some fresh legs in that interior that could have come in late in the game when needed and did. What are your thoughts?
Well, one of the things we talked about,
John, hold on a second. Sorry, Matt.
One of the things we talked about in the offseason was, it can't be Bear Alexander all by himself, which it was for much of last year. And it can't be like Tuli Pelotu was pretty much all by himself on the defensive line in 2022. One big stud on the defensive front, but no one there to help him. Well, so here we had a group. This was a collective effort. This was a team effort. You had everyone on that front four delivering. So, the collective nature of this USC performance, like it wasn't as though one guy made the difference. It was everyone making a difference. And that speaks to the quality of coaching, because like all three position groups, secondary, linebackers, defensive front, all chipped in. The players, they were raving about everyone. They were raving about Entz. They were raving about Sean Nua. They were raving about Coach Henne, and the Doug Belk secondary did not get beaten deep for home run splash plays. The great thing about this, it's everyone, because if it was one or two guys, I mean, hey, it's still a win over LSU. It would have been great, would have been awesome. But you could say there was this one key. No, it was everybody. So it's not as though if you're an offensive coordinator preparing for this USC defense, it's not as though, hey, we have to figure out that one matchup. And if we win that one matchup, we crack the code and we can unlock this defense. No, USC's defense is going to be a problem at all 11 spots on the field. As we put the subscribe button, we invite you to like and subscribe to and share our show here. So that really is the thing. It was a village. It was a collective. It was a community effort for USC. You can't pin this on just one or two superstars. It was everybody joining in. It was Bear Alexander getting help up front. It was everybody helping out each other. That's definitely the best aspect of all this.
Yeah. John, your thoughts?
Well, I was also, I got to tell you, man, I love the way that they were moving Gentry all over the place. Like he's a little secret weapon who comes in, and 1 minute he's at end, the next minute he's at linebacker. God knows where they're going to put him, but he's the perfect guy for that kind of rover role, I guess you would call it. But I mean, and I expected the offense to do good. I didn't think it was no surprise that Miller did well. I mean, I actually watched Miller play football in high school because I follow Southern California football. I have friends. I actually live very close to Mater Dei. So, I've seen some of the games, Miller was a stud. So I am not surprised. I'm so happy for the kid. He showed tremendous poise under pressure. He just came. I got to be honest with you. You reminded me a little bit of Tom Brady throwing strikes. And so, yeah, I'm excited, man. I personally think this team is a much better all-around team than what we've seen over the last 2 years, even with Caleb Williams. God bless him. In fact, thank God he was here, because who knows what we would have had without him. But
that's exactly it.
Best of luck. But
yeah, that's a point that's not over. Sorry, that's a point people forget about. They want to harp on the fact that we lost 5 games last year. Imagine the horror, the absolute carnage that would have been last year without Caleb Williams. And then go back a year before that 11-win gift he gave us. What do you think, Matt? Maybe 8-4-ish, possibly. That was a pretty good offensive line. We had a pretty decent offense, and the defense was what it was with Tuli. So maybe we're looking at 8-4, maybe 9-4, possibly.
And let's also just make this point. What if you had Caleb Williams with a Danton Lynn, Coach Henne?
Well, that's just going to hurt us. Matt
Entz, Doug Belk defense. Okay, he had to do so much by himself. What if Caleb had this defensive coaching staff backing him up? let's consider that.
National
And while we're
championship,
one more thing about coaching, and I said this on our Tuesday show with Mark Rogers here at the Voice of College Football. Just want to mention it one more time. Lots of USC fans, not necessarily people here, but just in general. Like on Twitter, following the team last year during games, so many people thought Mason Cobb was a bum. He was a bust. He was a washout. I know my man Tim wasn't. My man Tim believed, but lots of USC fans thought, what, this Mason Cobb guy, not as advertised. False advertising. He didn't live up to the billing. And can we just admit, like, this is what happens when good players are coached properly. It wasn't the player, it was the coaching. So, if you had lots of pieces in place earlier, like last year, man, what could have been? But still, like that should definitely give us some perspective on Caleb Williams while we're talking about him.
Yeah, great call, John.
I just have one.
Go ahead.
Just one more thing.
Yeah.
I knew after UCLA kicked our ass last year. It was embarrassing to see us get physically beat by the little Bruins in Pasadena. I mean, I forget they did that to us at home. Anyways, I was just so when they hired him, I was ecstatic. I knew he was going to be a success. Anybody who could turn the Bruins into a success would definitely turn the Trojans into a success.
I love it, John.
Anyways, thank you. I appreciate you guys. Keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and that's why I got frustrated with people on this network to kept saying, well, the defense was so terrible last year. It was so terrible last year. I said, it's going to be a whole new defense. You can't look at that squad that was coached under that scheme with, what do we have? Like three starters from last year on this defense. They're actually playing, if I'm doing that right, because Jacoby Covington was, injured, but he was a starter at corner. You got Bear. Anthony Lucas did do some starting, but I mean, rare spots. I just, the whole point I'm trying to make is that that whole thing, there were so many people that wanted this not to work. It was so clear, you guys. And that's why, by the way, I am kind of poking the tiger with the title. I'm kind of throwing it back in their face. If you guys saw the title of the show, it says, is the Big Ten ready for the SC's physical ball, right? Our style of ball is what it is. But I got tired of saying, Jesus, you think USC's going to be able to handle the Big Ten? And what was I saying the whole time, Matt? Yeah, we're SC. Yeah, we're going to be fine in the Big Ten. And all we need to do is get our ducks in a row on defense. And, so far we're going to have 2 big tests coming up against Penn State and Michigan. But I'm liking our chances a hell of a lot more in both of those games than I did prior to Saturday's game.
Penn who? State Penn?
All right, John. We'll catch you later. Thanks for calling in.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye. I'm throwing together a little slideshow just for the hell of it because you got me all pumped up about the pictures, and I can do that while you're doing the talking here. All right, 2 great calls from Aaron and John to start the night off. Again, I want all you first-time callers, give us a call. We got 135 of you guys out there on Twitter and YouTube. Please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're on Twitter, please do us a favor. Give us both a follow. I'm Tim_Prangley. And Matt, you're at Trojans Wire, correct?
Sure.
Is that what you want for your Twitter?
Fine.
Or your personal?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, absolutely.
All right, caller. Hi. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
It's only right that the third call is Avery. What's going on, Matt and Tim? How y'all doing today, baby?
We leave the slot. There's a Heisman slot for you as number 3. So good, Avery. How you doing?
I mean, let's come on with it. First off, I want to give kudos to you, which is Teddy Roosevelt started the quote tonight, or quote that you started the night off with.
Mm-hmm.
Walking quietly with a big stick. Absolutely. So that I would like to say it's wartime. Let's take it outside. That's how I feel about that. And I feel like USC is off to a good start. And if you recall, you asked me what did I think the score prediction was going to be. I called 34-20. And I definitely feel like we left at least 7 to 10 points out there on the table. And you say, well, what will be what's going to be the change or the upgrades? I came out on record and say the secondary was going to be the upgrade. And To me, I think after a guy caught seven balls for 90 yards in the first half but not catching any in the second half, I think Doug Bell is who he is. Honestly, just really overall was pleased with the entire effort, right? I honestly knew not only with the win hire, just everybody else we checked off. That's what college football has come to, right? If your staff isn't A1 from top to bottom, or at least producing in certain position groups that's going to have the organization and the advantageous situation to win, you're not good. And it's only a handful of programs that have those ingredients. And I think right now, I told you last week, I think we have a top 5 coaching staff. I think the mentality is there now.
Avery.
I saw Ince.
Avery.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. What did you call for the score? 34-20?
I called 34-20.
So that missed field goal would have had you within one of nailing the score. Wow. That's pretty impressive. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, man, just looking at where we at as a staff. I'm a Georgia guy and live and move all around, but I've touched base with some folks back in Southwest Georgia, and the word is true. Coach Henney and Belk are in the Southeast, putting their face card and getting their footprint there. It's happening, and let's be real. When USC is good, they are recruiting all throughout the United States. And they're sewing up California, and they cherry pick what they want. Why? Because this is what type of organization it is. This is what type of program it is. And I think we're on the horizon. Unfortunately, I'm going to piggyback to the first caller. I've been saying it. Lincoln has to take what he's learning from these top aficionados that he has on the team, the Ints, the Hennies, the Belks, the Lens. He's going to have to learn from them so that way when they do leave, when the attrition happens, because we're winning and doing great, he still needs to be able to have the model going, right? Think about it. When USC was good, we started having the Lane Kiffins lead, the Norm Childs of Sarks, think one of the Holtz, all that, etc. Same thing, Alabama.
Let me hop in.
Go ahead.
See, that's what the car, and I want to stress this. That's what happens when we have a capable coach with the capable administration that's willing to invest in the program. Okay. I mean, yes, you have the GOAT. Saban's just, almost as good as Pete Carroll. Okay. Anyway. But what I'm going to say to you is when you have that kind of vertical alignment, then that does happen where you just keep it rolling, and I'm not saying everyone can do it. I mean, it's not easy. You don't just start plucking, Lane Kiffin as your coordinator, then Sarkisian as your coordinator. The defensive coordinators they had, Kirby Smart. You don't get these guys just running through your program without the cloud of being a great coach. And I think that Lincoln Riley is building that resume. And once people see that if you're good enough at your job, you could be a lead at USC in Lincoln Riley's program. And so once that's proven, proof of concept to not just the prospects out there, the high school prospects and possible transfers, but also that proof of concept to all of those coaches and coordinators out there that see what could be here at USC with what they're building. We are just getting started. I tweeted that out. This reminds me a lot of just the momentum that I felt early on with Pete Carroll. Do we go on that kind of run? Who knows? I do know that we're in for something special this year, and let's see how far we can take it.
Point for me to add here, and we wrote about this the past week at Trojans Wire, is that, hey, we know the USC NIL situation is not exactly where it needs to be. It's not exactly where we want it to be. And
we don't know.
The things still have to be done on that front. But, for all the talk about that during the offseason here on this show at the Voice of College Football, and Jen Cohen got a lot of criticism here on this show. Let's give Jen Cohen her props. Let's give Jen Cohen credit because she was willing to pony up. She was willing to fork over the salaries to get these high-end defensive assistant coaches on board. Jen Cohen contributed to this win over LSU. She contributed to this turnaround within the USC program. And so one of the great rules of criticism as an editor, as a writer, just someone who deals with online content, covering college football as long as I have. I've done it for over 2 decades. It's fair game to criticize, but when someone earns praise, when someone does something that merits some appreciation, some applause, some credit, tipping of the cap, you got to do it. And it's a symbiotic relationship, right? When winning is so euphoric because you know the pain of losing, and vice versa.
Good God.
Yes, and similarly, you get, by giving credit to someone, it makes it that much easier for them to accept it when you criticize them. So criticism and praise, they go hand in hand. Jen Cohen deserves a lot of praise for this LSU win. She helped make it happen. That needs to be said. Totally
agree. And again, that's one of the great things about that picture that just impromptu happened, is the fact that those were 2 of the many faces that truly brought all this together. And some of the faces, you guys, we don't even know. They're behind the scenes that do a lot for this program, that are so instrumental. But listen, Avery, we got to let you go. I just peeked at the call queue. There are 13 people in the call queue. So we got to start moving these things along. Avery, appreciate you calling in as always. And let's hope we get through this week with no injuries, and then a couple of weeks we'll be in. As anyone go, by the way, let me know, you guys. I finalized all my itinerary for Michigan, so I'm gonna be at Michigan in a couple of weeks. So looking forward to that. But thank you, Avery, for calling.
Hey, fight on, guys. Wartime. Let's take it outside. Talk to you guys later.
That's for you, Avery. Thanks for calling in, man.
Okay, 13 people in the queue. Let's hold off on the calls right now so that we can get through these 13. Then we'll reopen the queue.
Okay. Hi, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
What's up, guys? This is Christian from Mission Viejo.
Hey, Christian. How you doing?
Excellent. How about yourself?
Well, physically, I've been better, but mentally, been a long time. For sure. All right. What's on your mind first, and then I'm sure we have a question.
Yeah. Not much on the mind. Really excited about how it showed out against LSU. I was out in Vegas for the game, and it was great. I was really stoked to be chanting the SEC chants that they were laying on us earlier, and they definitely weren't enjoying it after the game. So stoked on that.
Yeah, it was. I tell you what, though, their fans came, didn't they? Their fans. I'm gonna be blunt again. I was really happy with the number of Trojans fans who were there, but you would never know that USC, as far as the amount of Trojans to Tigers, you would, for the sound of that place, you would never know that one wasn't much more than the other. Because those Tigers, I'll tell you what, those guys came to holler. That's for sure.
They did for sure. Yeah.
What do you got for us?
All right. So, let's see. All right, I got a good one. If you were to pick one active coach from any college football team or in the NFL to add to our staff, who would it be and why?
I pick whoever the best offensive line coach is.
There you go, Matt. See what I mean?
Well, look, offensive line was decent, but like, hey, Christian asked a question. If you're going to address any need on the coaching staff right now, Tim, it's not going to be in the secondary. It's not going to be linebacker. It's not going to be defensive line. It sure isn't going to be quarterback. It's either offensive line or probably wide receiver. It would be coaches who'd have those 2 fields of expertise, right? Like
wide receiver
process of elimination.
Why are you trying to get rid of Simmons now?
I don't know. I think we have a good developer at wide receivers coach. I don't know.
Good developer, good recruiter.
Just if you're going to compare that to defense, see, so this is not even a criticism so much as it's just Christian asked who you're going to add, and I would say you're going to add in those areas of expertise, not because they're bad, but because they're not as good as the other position groups. That's where you'd go first.
Fair.
I'm coming up for Ryan Doherty, not because I have anything against the guy, but I can't think of any coaches on this staff at this point. After what I watched on Saturday, See, I'm not attached to Ryan Doherty because I don't even know him. He's kind of in the background, and I'm really just trying to cheat his question. Because you guys, I might have to restate the rules in the show. I'm gonna say you guys can lead the show, but can we at least, for God's sake, stop trying to get rid of coaches? Stop trying to do this. Thinking that everyone's leaving. Can we turn this thing a bit positive? Because I mean, I'm a pretty positive guy. You guys are freaking the shit out of me. I did it. This is the biggest win we've had in like 6-7 years. And here we are talking about losing, replacing coaches, all stuff. It's too much for me to do. It's too much. Sorry, Ryan Doherty, if you're out there somewhere and this gets to you. It's nothing personal. It's just, again, you're the new guy on the block, and it's kind of what happens. Okay, Christian, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. I'm more than pleased with our coaching staff. It was just if there were to be an addition.
You guys are just trying to make this thing sad. Right now. You're trying to ruin my buzz. I mean, it's even the virus couldn't do that. All right. Listen, appreciate you, Christian. Thank you so much for calling in. I really do hope you call in again. I always appreciate your questions, no matter how much I give you a hard time.
Yeah, no worries. All right, have a good one. Fight on.
All right, fight on, Christian. All right, guys. I mean, seriously, even though it's a great question, it is. Can we just try to keep some positivity going? I think we're so used to this self-loathing thing we've been doing for like 5 years.
Like the last thing I was expecting to deal with tonight are coaching change questions.
And from Christian too.
LSU, God.
Yeah. But hey, the rules are the rules. It's your show. So you guys want to talk about that? Bring me down, fine. But let's try to bring it back up. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Ruben. I'm calling from Missouri, stationed in Fort Leonard Wood.
Ruben, I talked to you earlier. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm sorry I called in a little bit late. I had to pick up my son from a baseball game.
No problem. Yeah, go ahead. Share what you said to me earlier.
Yeah, so listen, I live, in Missouri, right? And I work with a lot of SEC guys. And they're always talking about like how LSU gave the game away and how, it was their game to lose and all this crap, right? And I'm like, come on, man. Like, y'all really gonna like argue this point? Like you guys saw the same thing I saw out on the field, right? Like LSU did not lose this game. USC won the damn game, right? Like if you take a closer look, right? Like I went back and I saw the game multiple times, right? Just to see what little details I missed. And it was amazing, right? To see, and refreshing for that matter, to see, our coaches down there, like, Doug Bell, and Coach Henny, like doing all of these in-game coaching, in-game adjustments. Like, you could see Coach Henny, right? Talking to some of the defensive linemen, right? Like telling them, making, those hand gestures. Like I can only imagine telling them like, hey, this is where your hand is. Maybe this is what you think you should do, right? And, when I compare and contrast that to last year, to the Alex Grinch, regime, and seeing, the absence of that, like, man, you can't tell me that, you can't tell me that LSU lost this game, right? Like, no. USC, this coaching staff, did a phenomenal job. They did everything they had to do to win this game, right? And, like the other thing that we talked about, Tim, was, like, I think it's just crazy how all of this happened the way it did, how all the chips fell, right? Like how all the dominoes fell. Because if Lincoln Riley would have fired Alex Grinch after that first season, like we wouldn't have had this coaching staff. Like none of this would have been possible.
It's weird how that works out, isn't it?
And so sometimes, it really is. So sometimes, I mean, you got to take the good with the bad, and you got to take a look at the bigger picture.
Well, USC years ago lucked into the hiring of of Pete Carroll. I mean, we could have Mike Bellotti as our coach, right? I mean, yeah, he was the fourth choice. His daughter was playing volleyball here at USC. Just kind of had an interview. I don't know the exact details of it, but the rest is kind of history. I don't think any of the was Dennis Erickson. Who were they, Matt? Like Dennis Erickson, Bellotti,
Mike Riley,
all those Pacific Northwest guys. Yeah, and then we'll give this Pete guy a shot. It's sometimes life just hands you that. That's why it's also when people hear that you've been turned down for this or this is happening, you just got to see how it shakes out, because sometimes believe me, and I say this as well, if you were in school in the late 90s and you went through all that shit, when Pete came and breathed some fresh air into this program and started kicking the shit out of every team in the Big Ten, the SEC, and dropped a couple of games, really, the Big 12, who we make fun of, the Big 12 and the Pac-12, the little programs, right? They were the only ones that could beat USC. Kansas State, Texas, Washington State, Oregon State, these programs, they were the only ones that can knock off those juggernaut Pete Carroll teams. Michigan, Ohio State, Auburn, Arkansas, USC was just feeding taking their lunch money. And yet these other programs were the ones that were knocking USC off. So it's just crazy how stuff happens.
Right.
It
really is. It really is. Again, because of where I live now, due to the Army, I'm in close proximity to, Oklahoma. And of course, there's a lot of Oklahoma, fans out here that I deal with on a daily, right? And so, they every day they want to talk about, how Lincoln Riley ran away from the SEC and how USC will never compete. And, like what you mentioned earlier, when USC gets its, crap together, like there are very few teams that can compete with the resources that USC has, and, but hey, I quiet them really, really quick when I tell them, hey man, you know what? Y'all said Lincoln Riley ran away because he couldn't handle the SEC. Well, it looks to me like he was SEC ready all along.
And I'll bet you one thing as well. I really do think that Brian Kelly wishes maybe he hadn't played this game, because then maybe he might have gotten a season opener under his belt. All that chippy stuff that they were talking about kind of came to bite them in the ass, which, tends to happen when people get chippy like that. So. Great call, Ruben. I'm a terrible host because we've lost 5 callers because we've been on the phone with 2 callers for about 15 minutes. But listen, I appreciate you calling in and really welcoming me to call throughout the year. This show really is all about you guys, and I enjoyed talking to you earlier, and I enjoy talking to you right now. So thank you for your service, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon.
Hey, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Again, I love what you guys do, and thank you.
Thank you, Ruben. Fight on, man. All right, so the 5 people that know I'm terrible at my job for not moving through these calls faster, I do apologize. I'm just kind of weird. I don't like to rush people, but we're going to move a little bit faster. Now, that's very relative because I'm the one doing it, but we do kind of need to move through these and you 5 callers, if you want to call back, feel free to call back because I'm going to move faster. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Paulie Walnuts. I just moved in from Albuquerque, New Mexico, back to Southern California. Let me tell you, Tim, I think so highly of you and your show that I'm willing, instead of unpacking, I'm willing to sit here and wait 30-something minutes.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I am really bad at this. I'm not going to lie. I'm a talker by nature, and I'm just crap at saying, rushing people.
Dude, you know how great it feels to get out of the land of entrapment where dreams are meant to be crushed and destroyed, to get back over in SoCal with the Trojan family where I belong, baby. Fight on. Let's get to the point here. So immediately I called once when you were with USCJ on the phone, and I've been preaching till I'm blue in the face with fellow alumni about how the Big Ten, everybody talks about the size and how we're going to be able to, deal with that. But I mentioned time and time, and I've been talking to them about it, I don't know how many times, about how they're going to be able to compete with our athleticism, our speed on the outside, and our size. But one room that no one talks about that I'm so proud of is our tight end room, man. Let me tell you something, and it's only going to get better. Wait, that is the one room. That is the one skill position right there that's going to improve throughout the year, and you just got a taste of it the other night, and I'm so excited about that, man. But one other thing that I like I said, arguing with fellow Trojans, man, about it, dude, I can't begin to tell you. I've always felt we've had enough. Everybody tends to panic, and they hit the panic button. Oh, we need more. We need more. I think we had enough. It's player development that we were lacking. Come on. I was there during the Hackett years, man. I saw the worst. So let me tell you right now, when I see the talent that we have and the ability for this coaching staff to be able to develop these players and get them to that next level, I think we have plenty of talent. And then what that's going to do is once they see these players being developed and moving on to that next level, it's only going to make recruitment that much easier and that much better for us. And listen, buddy, it feels great. I got to get back, but it feels good to be back here. I can't wait to get back on campus, baby. Fight on, and one of these days, man, I hope I get to meet you in person, Tim. You're amazing. I think the absolute world of you, buddy.
Thank you, man. That's cool. Yeah, listen, if you're in any games, I'm at every game, Paulie. So if you're there, give me a shout out. I'll come in. I'll come hang out. I definitely will. I'm looking forward to it, dude.
You got it, baby.
You just shout me out. I'll come running up there. Don't worry. Fight on, man.
All right, but take care, man.
Take care. Oh my God, I'm fading. All right. We do have 4 calls to the queue right now. Hi, caller. Hang on one split second. And I've been really terrible about the super chats. Roy Banuelos, as always, finally in weird passing got to actually say hi to Micah after the game. It was awesome. What an awesome victory. I know he was signaling up to you. You were in the stands, Dad, just probably enjoying the whole thing. Thank you for, as always, being here, and thank you for the $10 super chat. Let's go, Roy. Jackson Johnson, also another huge supporter of the show. Do everything to keep Dan Lynn and Matt Entz. I cannot agree with you more. Someone else brought up Matt Entz. That again, the linebacker play in this, Mason Cobb and Eric Gentry and Easton Mascarenas Arnold. I mean, these guys are playing well. Everybody's tackling. I mean, did you guys see Kabari Ramsey out in the perimeter? I mean, the guy was just making open field tackles and just relentless. But as far as the linebackers are concerned, I totally agree with you about Matt Entz. Pay him his weight in gold, without a doubt. Right on, fight on. It ain't bootlicking if it's deserved kudos. You are absolutely right.
Hey Tim, I'm never gonna forgive you for being such a bootlicker. Never. Hey Tim, All
right, you only get one. Thank you, Right on, Fight on, for the super chat. And another one, thank you. If USC was given a death penalty 2.0 sanction from the NCAA for allegations, who would would you just stop? God dang it, Fight on. All right, thank you so much, Fight on. Appreciate the super chat as well. Matt, I'm gonna have you take over a little bit because I'm gonna go and blow my nose and do all kinds of stuff to my head. I'll be right back. I'll take the new caller.
Just feel
caller. Hi, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Is this me?
Yeah, it's you. How you doing? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's in the chat. It's Joe Long. I'm your friendly Notre Dame rival.
Hey, Joe. Yeah, longtime supporter. Appreciate you being here, Joe. Keep talking. I'll be back in a minute.
And
keep talking.
Right.
I'll be back.
I wanted to give I was going to give a shout out to Jackson Johnson because he actually was in one of Mark Rogers' chats, and I asked him about you, and he gave me the link for your guys' chat, so I was able to actually leave his chat and join yours. So I appreciate that about him. That was very nice of him.
Jackson is absolutely the best. One of the biggest longtime supporters of not just this show, not just this channel, but just college football, and he's just a wonderful human being.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, you can see that easy. But anyway, I was reaching out to say congrats to you guys on your win versus LSU and BK. I was going to say I'd like to take a little partial credit for that win because of I always watch the games on tape delay because I don't like having to deal with commercials. So what I did for the USC LSU game was I waited about 2.5 hours, and then I put the game on, and it turned out that DirecTV, who I get at Disney, blocked the game in Northern California due to contract negotiations or something. So I wound up missing it, but I turned on the internet, and I was able to watch with about 11:46 of the fourth quarter, and that you guys were down 17-13 or something like that, and you came back and won. Right when I turned it on, you were playing great. So
Funny how that
I thought
worked.
was pretty cool. I know, but I'm not going to stay on long. I was just wanted to say, I think it's such a good thing. All is right in the world when Notre Dame and USC are back at the top of college football at the same time.
Yeah, I don't know if Matt said it, but great win against the Aggies as well on your end. I think that's going to be a hell of a game. I think you guys are undefeated. There's an outside chance USC goes into this game, close to undefeated.
Oh, you guys.
I'm not putting anything in.
Everyone's underestimating your quarterback. I think he's great. 6 touchdowns in a bowl game. I don't care if you're playing in, a FCS team. He showed something, and nobody's given him the respect yet. So, when it comes to 6 or 7 games in, and all of a sudden you guys are kicking around these Big Ten teams that are, thinking they're all this and all that, and really, there's only been Ohio State and Michigan, and just like that in the SEC, there's only been Alabama and Georgia lately, and then there's everybody else, So, all these conferences that think they're just, so great, they have 2 good teams every year, and maybe 3 for the SEC. Maybe there's 3 good teams every year for them.
Now, do you think it's a coincidence? Do you think,
now,
Joe, do you think it's a coincidence that we're starting to see a little more parity now that NIL's here, now that everybody's paying players, now that there's a transfer portal, Joe, where you can't stack, defense, like 4 defensive tackles behind each other now. I think that you're going to see the consolidation of all the players at a couple of schools. I think it's going to spread back out again. And like we know here at USC, and it's pretty much the same thing over at Notre Dame, depending on who your coach is. If you're not self-sanctioning yourself, there's no reason why USC or Notre Dame is not one of the top programs in the country every single year.
Yeah, I mean, it's such uncontrolled chaos that anybody, it's almost like a lottery, It's like, who's going to be getting this guy and who's going to make that difference in this team? And it could be anybody. It could be like Duke or Louisville or,
That's why
anybody.
Don't get caught sleeping. Don't get caught sleeping, Joe, because I want you guys undefeated at the end of the year. I want it to be a classic. I've seen a couple of mine in my lifetime. Some really good ones in my lifetime, and it'd be great to see it again this year with you guys. We got to let you go because we're stacked up a little bit.
Okay.
But listen, Joe, please call back anytime. Love your calls. Love to hear from you guys. And Notre Dame,
thanks,
Michigan fans, Penn State fans, those of you guys are on our schedule. We'd love to hear from all of you guys, but especially you, Joe. Appreciate you supporting the show.
Thanks a lot, Tim.
All right. I had to stop just short saying go Irish because it's just, I can't do this year. I think it's going to be a big game, Joe. I think it's going to be a really big game. All right. Let's get through these calls. I'm see how I sped that up, Matt? I got to get better at this. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going, Tim? This is Mario out here in Silver Lakes or Hellendale. I called you before. I think once before.
Hey, yeah. Thanks for calling in again.
Hey, man. I had 2 questions I wanted, or 2 things to talk about. But for God's sake, man, I gotta mention this. Everybody's taking a crap on these coaches, and I'm listening to it, and it's just driving me crazy. It's like they're broken men. It's like the last 4 or 5 years, maybe 10 years, have broken their spirit and their soul. I have no idea why they do this.
Who?
So that I just have to say that.
Who?
Wake up, people. Don't lend your energy to that stuff.
Who? People are cracking on our coaches?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm listening to your show.
Oh no,
and there's people talking about
I don't think they're cracking on. I think that. And so the one thing is with Christian comes up with these stumpers, and he knows how to mess with this guy right here. He puts out good questions, and he's just trying to get me, and it took on a little. But I think really what he's saying is when he does these questions, he poses them because he knows it's a hard decision. You asked me that question 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm ready to give you a couple names. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
with this staff, I think it's more just to
that
kind of stump you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that maybe for me anyway, I would want to use my call, for different things. But and to waiting online to get answered. Hey, I've driven in LA. I don't live in LA anymore, but I've driven there. I just recently went there for a funeral, so I got home in 5 hours. So to wait 20, 30, 40 minutes for a call, I'm surprised any Los Angelinos has a problem with that. But here's my question, and here's what I wanted to call you about, and that is I was looking at our QB there, Mr. Heismiller's stats for these 2 games that he played in, and I found one, really wonderful stat about what he does, and it's how he distributes the ball. And that is the most amazing thing, because I remember seeing this before. I saw it with another guy named Matt Leinart. And I don't know if you guys remember how Matt distributed the ball. That was his thing. He was a ball distributor. So to me, when I look at Miller Moss, I look at Matt Leinart 2.0. I mean, what do you guys think on that?
Okay, they make throws though. I have to say this. They're not. I know you're not saying this either, but they're far from a game manager distributing it to their playmakers. They make plays. Both of them have some throws they want back. They both might have some, if you look at NFL measurables, and certain things that might not stack up like some of the other guys, right? Like Caleb Williams. But the throws that Miller is making into the windows with guys right in his face, just simply amazing. Matt Leinart with the ice water in his veins, 4th and 9.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Wasn't Dwayne Jarrett, like his contact, he couldn't see. That ball was thrown so perfect, right where it had to be, right into his hands. Otherwise,
33 sluggo.
Game over. Yep, 33 sluggo. If you haven't seen that video when Lane Kiffin calls down and tells them about that audible, amazing. I forgot it was on YouTube, but yeah, exactly. That throw.
I might have seen it. I might have.
Those throws don't come around often. And Miller, between the Holiday Bowl and this past game, is just throwing some gems that are like, I don't know how
I agree.
He's getting it there. So to call it he's distributing, I like the way that Lincoln Riley said. He said that like the game kind of slows down for him. You know what I mean? He's such a cerebral guy that the game just literally, like, it's kind of cliche, but it's not when it's accurate. The game kind of slows down for him, and he makes these reads and gets the ball out. And sometimes the ball placement is like, what the hell? But then when it needs to be there, I mean, Mario, it's just, there's been at least a handful in both games where I'm like, wow, what a throw.
Yeah. No, I see great things coming in the horizon for him and for SC. I mean, I think that SC has left their Mercury retrograde kind of part of their program. So I'm happy to see that they're moving on and on to bigger and better things. And one of the other things that the last thing I wanted to ask you about was knowing what we know now with the defensive staff, which I'm honestly, I think this is a championship caliber staff. I really, really do think that. Would we have willingly say, okay, I'll take one more year of bushel britches on defense to get our staff now? Would you guys have done that knowingly?
Oh, I don't know if I could have.
Because we wouldn't have had the staff last year.
I don't know if I could have survived another.
This is not a coaching question. This is not a coaching question for the future or for our staff. I'm just saying, like if we would have got rid of what's his name?
Yeah, we don't need to say his name. We all know who you mean. We'll just move on.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You guys, listen, everyone.
Shall not be spoken.
Everyone say it with me. Ready? We are 1-0. We just beat LSU.
Yeah.
We have the best defense we've had in years. Our offense looks like it's not taking a big step backwards like everyone told us to do. Our defensive line is stout, and it doesn't look like we're going to be fading in the third quarter. Everyone take a deep breath. You ready? Let it go. Let all those feelings you have about what the traumas we've gone through, we need to exercise those demons and just move past it, because I still hear some of you guys. Some of you guys still clinging.
I'm very grateful for the way things turned out.
All right.
That's my thing.
I agree with you, Mario. We're stacking up again. I appreciate you calling in. I look forward to you calling again during the season. Fight on, man.
Sure, no problem. Okay, fight on.
I'm telling you guys, it's all good now.
Weird show.
It's
not
all
what
good.
I was expecting.
I mean, I get the angst. I think it's gonna take a little more than one win, Matt, to exercise those demons.
Really. Tonight shows how traumatized this fan base has been over the past year. Definitely.
All great calls, but I was thinking. I mean, I thought we're popping some corks. I thought we were, like lighting some cigars tonight. I thought this was gonna be like here I am cracking down Ricolas. But by the way, if you get sick, this is not a paid sponsorship. But if you ever get sick with a cough, this is it. This is it. So make sure you stock up if you getting sick. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm John San Juan, calling from Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur over here.
Wow.
But I'm also a fan of Ricola as well.
Yeah, everyone's ever been sick.
We had a good.
Is a big fan. Trust me.
Yeah. There's a couple people sick here, but we had a good watching party here, watching the game over here as well. It's all good.
Awesome.
Anyway, I got one quick question. I'm new at asking questions here, but I guess I heard Pete Carroll's on faculty at USC. Any thoughts of how the USC coaching staff is tapping his knowledge or talent, maybe recruiting? Any news going on there? Do you guys know of?
I think the main thing is he's there. He's available if anyone on that staff wants a little input. I think that's the main thing. It's just he's there. So that's the main thing. I mean, I think this staff pretty much knows what it's doing. So Pete doesn't need to intervene, right? But he's there for consultation. I think that's the way to put it.
Yep. I 100%, Matt, for sure.
Very cool. Thanks, guys.
Is that it? Okay. All right. Listen, John, appreciate the fact. What time is it there right now? I'm just trying to do my math in my head. What is it? We're talking Saturday morning here, or what?
11:16. 11:16.
Oh, you're behind.
Saturday morning over here. Yeah, but I'll call in. I'll call in again. Yeah, for sure.
Really appreciate it. Really
Saturday,
appreciate
so we're a day ahead.
Super.
100%, guys.
Super cool. Make
Cheers.
sure you do call in. Appreciate it, man. Fight on.
I will fight on, guys. Bye.
Yeah, we've gone international a couple of times now,
Yeah.
We got Malaysia. We've had Venezuela.
Yeah.
There was another place too. I think we hit recently.
Philippines, I think.
It was Philippines. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna try to pop up this as we're wrapping up the calls. I'm gonna try. I've been trying to multitask. Hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
David from Los Angeles.
Hey, David. How you doing? What's on your mind?
Well, you know what? One thing that got me really upset, was after hearing the LSU coach say that USC offense was pedestrian. And I've been asking some of my buddies about what that meant. Does that really mean that he was thinking that they're just average? Was he not there? I just need to kind of hear your thoughts on that. Why would he call them pedestrian?
Well, I'm a huge Brian Kelly fan. You could just ask Matt here, because I'm always singing my praise for good old Brian Kelly. Which line did he call pedestrian?
The offense. He called the USC offense pedestrian, and that didn't go well with a lot of people.
I think it's sour. I mean, there's very few coaches that are going to talk that way about a team. I mean, Matt, I think you'll probably agree that regardless of what you feel about a team that just defeated you, you're probably gonna not say that. I don't think this offensive line is pedestrian. I think that on the rewatch, there's a lot of stuff they need to clean up. There's young, there's still, this is still a relatively young line. I mean, your right tackle's got a lot of experience. Left tackle's got a lot of experience. Your center, but right guard and left tackle, they're young and they're kind of feeling each other out. I will tell you, just like with Miller Moss, and believe me, this Miller Moss thing puts a smile on my face. They're just going to keep getting better. So Brian Kelly thinks, and I will say this as well. Okay, so I crack on Brian Kelly a lot, but if there's one thing I think, well, two things: tight ends and offensive linemen. When I think of Brian Kelly, and he knows O lines. I'll leave it there. But he also says some dumb shit, so I don't really take a whole lot of what he says seriously, especially after games.
The main thing is that Brian Kelly lost. That's the main thing.
Yeah, sour grapes.
Right. Sour grapes. And by the way, guys, thank you. I like the fact that many of us who experienced the last 2 years of really bad defense and seeing what we saw, last week, it just lifted up so many spirits of a lot of the Trojan family out here, man.
You got it, David. You got it. You know the feeling. That's right. We got to enjoy this stuff, guys. Right. This is amazing.
Yeah. So, hey, thank you for the forum. Really appreciate it. Fight on.
Fight on, John. Yeah, I got to hurry up, get these pictures up because we're running out of show. I can see Matt's eyeballs already. Let me just pop these up really fast. So I'm just going to show you some of them, but if you guys want, you go over to Trojans
There are a
Wire.
lot more of these photos. There are a lot more of these photos at Trojans Wire. Trojans Wire, trojanswire.usatoday.com. Tim has these galleries up. Click the link, tell your friends, share them far and wide. Like that helps both Tim and myself. We get more page views. Bosses like us, so share
the colors,
photo galleries.
And the colors. I mean, again, this is a really good helmet game. And the crowd and everything was really, I mean, obviously the pictures aren't going to tell you how loud this crowd was, but I knew it going in. I mean, I've been to Allegiant a couple of times, and especially at the Pac-12 championship game in 2022. I mean, that place can get loud, and it was raucous. I mean, when you saw the emotion in the players' faces, like Miller Moss and guys like that, it was a lot because it was a hell of a battle physically and emotionally, and it was loud. One of these pictures, like you can hear that he can't even hear the helmet communication, and Moss has got his hands over the helmet. So, hi, caller. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Larry. Some people call me Doctor, but you can call me Larry. Ventura County. We've been here the last couple of years.
Larry, I'm going to call you Doctor.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. I want to preface this by saying that in 1977, when a long time ago, when I was in sports for about 10 years, I was the youngest public relations manager of all the sports at age 23 with the Chicago Cubs AAA Farm Club. And then in 82, I was the first assistant athletic director of Cal State Bakersfield. My son graduated from USC in 2014. And we've been big supporters, but I addressed the topic in previous chats with Coach Riley's press conference, where some media addressed Coach Riley by his first name.
Mm-hmm.
To me, there's no excuse for media to call Coach Riley by his first name. Hopefully others will learn to respect their coach by calling him Coach, not by his first name. And I just want to hear a couple of responses to the chat. And one person said, it's the way young kids are today. They do not call you by your title, not even Mr. It's always by first name. My two sisters have kids. They do not even call me uncle. It is just my first name. Growing up, it was not like this for me. Somebody else said, agree. It was always Coach Saban and never Nick. And then somebody else said, exactly. I thought I was the only one who noticed how completely unprofessional these media guys are. So, I'll get off, and I'd like to hear your comments on this. As being media individuals, and be glad to hear what you have to say about that.
I think you kind of on it with the generational thing. I mean, I've heard people I'm more comfortable saying coach because I don't know Lincoln Riley. If I knew Lincoln Riley, then I would address him. But he is the head football coach. There's a lot of people go around. I don't really have the issue with it. Some of these beat writers you're talking about, they seemingly have decent relationships that are just beyond a quick little conversation with Lincoln Riley. So I don't know. I can't speak to their personal relationships with him. I'm always comfortable calling him coach because I think I'd call any football coach, not just USC's coach. I think for me, and this again, I'm like in between the generations. My dad's old school, and he's definitely calling a coach, right? That's back in the day when yes, coach, no coach, that kind of situation. Now the players call coaches by their name. That's kind of new as well. I think it probably depends on the coach himself. But it doesn't appear to remotely bother Lincoln Riley. So, I mean, honestly, if Lincoln Riley doesn't mind, I mean, I personally don't mind if they want to call him Lincoln and stuff like that. But I hear your point. It's just me. I think I'm just a bit old school, so I kind of gravitate towards that. But I have to say, when I hear them talking, I don't go. It doesn't. It doesn't even hit my register. If that makes sense. But I do get what you're saying. It is definitely a new age. Like you're right. You weren't going to call Nick Saban Nick. You're not going to. I mean, did they call Bill Belichick Bill? I mean, I don't know.
No.
So maybe it's the coach themselves.
It could be, but I'd be interested to hear what Matt said. And by the way, Matt, been following you for a long time, since our son started USC in 2010.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. I really appreciate that. I think this is pretty simple. You start off with coach or Mr. with the formal address. And if the coach wants to be called by his first name, that's up to the coach. It's up to the public figure. But, you start with the formal address and you leave it up to the public figure that you're interviewing. It's that person's option to, reset things if that public figure wishes, and in a public setting, it doesn't cost anything to be formal, to observe some manners, display some etiquette. You gain credibility in the room, and the desire to kind of have some kind of intimacy with a public figure that you don't actually have. There's just, it can't end well, or at least, reaching too far too quickly to have a supposed familiarity that when it doesn't exist, I don't see the point of that. So there's no harm in starting formal, and then the public figure can make things more relaxed and casual if the public figure wants. It's that simple.
And we probably should. That's a good point, Matt. And we don't know if those conversations have already been made. Maybe those conversations that Matt just brought up may have been in passing discussed. So
behind the scenes, sure.
And I will tell you, all the guys that I've run into on the beat are just the really nice guys, extremely knowledgeable. They don't come across as irreverent. So I'm assuming, I'm assuming that maybe those conversations might have already happened, or maybe just Lincoln Riley is call me Lincoln. I mean, it's I haven't been privy to that conversation, but none of the guys that you're hearing of the local guys, none of them come across that. They especially the newspaper guys seem like they have an actual connection with Lincoln Riley. I don't know that for a fact. It's just when I see his demeanor with them and etc. I really think that that he, like Morales with the Athletic. I don't know why I'm making this up. I'm saying it in public, but it just seems like Lincoln Riley, I think they both have, he has a young daughter. I don't know. It's just they connect, And so when we talk about how they ask a question, there's probably a lot that's baked into it. I'll just leave it there because I'm really talking out, So I don't want to make any guesses.
Well, in the same respect, you call President Fulton. Oh, hi, Carol. How are you doing? And I guess it's up to her whether she wants or not. But I was always, I guess, for years, basically we called everybody coach all the time, no matter who it was. It was coach, 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 coach. So, but I appreciate your input on that, and just wanted to pass that along. And really enjoyed what both of you were doing.
Thank you. Yeah, I wish I could more help. I'm just going off of what I've kind of observed. I don't have anything concrete for you.
Thanks for calling. Really appreciate
Thanks
it.
very much. Bye. Bye now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you so much. All right, we got a couple more in the tank, Matt. We
Yep.
have a
And
super
Tim-
chat here.
Tim's passing along these photos. Don't they look sharp?
You guys, and there's again the Matt and I put together some just galleries of the pictures because I don't know. I mean, I have so many of them, and we use them obviously for the articles, but there's so I went pretty crazy with them, and a lot of them, just nice to see. I didn't just something about those LSU uniforms and USC's cardinal gold popping, with the LSU fans in the background. It was just that great play by Mason Cobb when we were talking. Speaking of which, Mason Cobb is, if you guys didn't hear, wrote an article about that. Mason Cobb is out for this game, and I'm kind of okay with that. Get him 100% because he played lights out. And like Matt said, the people who were down on him last year, they just didn't see him coached up by Coach Entz, and both he and Gentry coming and just really just attacking the running backs was a huge part of this win. Caller. Oh no, I think we're done. Oh wow, they bailed out, Matt. We lost 4 calls in the last 18 minutes. Sorry, callers. Again, I say it every time. I'm better at this, and I'm not. We're gonna get there, Matt. We're gonna get there. You guys, if you want to see more pictures, make sure you check those listicles out, and make sure you check out our stories over on Trojans Wire. That's our bread and butter. If you guys, probably the best way you can support us is support us over there on our channel. The link is in the description of this video.
All right. So Tim, are we wrapping up?
We are wrapping up.
Okay. So because we're wrapping up, let's set things up for now. So for one thing, this call-in show is going back to Fridays. Okay, back to Fridays. That's the day of the week that we settled on for a number of reasons. So Friday is going to be our regular in-season show. That now there could be an occasional switch up.
Bosco game.
If the schedule necessitates, certain high school games during the season, but the regular normal slot is going to be back on Friday. That's one thing. Point 2. We're probably going to be doing a Sunday morning post-game show. We're not going to be doing it, middle of the night. So, when there's a late kickoff, as this Saturday is against Utah State, 8 o'clock at the Coliseum, we're not going to do a midnight to 1 a.m. post-game. We're all going to, go to bed, wake up. So Tim, probably something's Sunday morning. Do we want to just say sometime Sunday morning?
Yeah.
Or
no, let's do 9 a.m. Sunday morning.
9 a.m. There you go. 9 a.m. Sunday post-game show. That's for a late game kickoff. When the games are in the middle of the day on Saturday, you will get a Saturday afternoon or evening post-game show from us. But because it's a late kick, we're going to just go to bed and then give you a post-game show Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific. That's noon in the East. So now you have that here at the Voice of College Football. And once again, Trojans Wire for all your post-game coverage needs. My report card, Tim's photos and analysis, and various other storylines. And of course, we're going to be covering Michigan. Right after week 2 ends, it's going to be 2 weeks of Michigan coverage. Like that is going to be our focus. And of course, we get 2 weeks because USC's off on September 14th. So USC, Michigan at Trojans Wire for these next 2 weeks. We're going to go deep into it.
I was talking about LSU, USC as a helmet game. It doesn't get any, in my opinion, obviously I'm a bit biased, but it just truly does not get any more helmet game than the Wolverines versus the Trojans. I'm just sorry. Those other helmets, you guys got ugly helmets. I'm just going to tell you, there's very few like epic ones to me. Notre Dame is up there as well. But when it comes to like the Wolverine helmet and the Trojan helmet, and that game, it's just going to be amazing. And my first time I've ever been to Ann Arbor, so it's going to be. I've been to East Lansing, but I've never been to Ann Arbor, so I'm really looking forward to that game. And then I'll have a photo gallery up right away after that, as soon as the game is over. I didn't get a chance to even get to the celebration pictures, but you guys, if you want to see all the pictures, go over to Trojans Wire. There's like at least 3 galleries I have. You can just glance right through all the pictures and be supporting us, as well as, if you guys want to check out all the pictures, there's some really fun pictures in the celebration just after the game. All right, Matt, we made it.
Get better, Tim.
Yeah, I'm feeling better about it. I mean, literally, I've been fever free. Whatever this was, the first 2 nights of the chills, that was it. Once you pass that, it was all downhill. But appreciate you guys all being here. And guys, it's just special. Oh, I forgot to thank. Well, first off, thank you to the doctor for calling in. David from Los Angeles, John, and Mario, Joe Long, Polly Walnut, Ruben, Christian, Avery, John Casella, and Aaron from Indio. Thank you guys all for calling in. You guys truly are this show. We could not do it without you. For the dozen or so people, because I'm so damn slow, we missed out on, please call back next time. I say it every week, but I am going to get better at it. It's going to become a meme pretty soon. But thank you guys all for being here on a Friday night.
Thank you, Willie Permort, for the late super chat. Really appreciate you getting that one in.
And we didn't get Danny here. Danny, also thank you, Danny, for being a member. Thank you. It just really is the best. And let's get that up there. All right, that's a paragraph. You get to read that for
Love
me,
the
Matt.
show as always. I predicted USC 11-1 and got heat for it. After watching Sunday's game in person, I am more confident than ever in that pick now. Big Ten is not ready. Watch out. Willie, from your lips to God's ears, like that would be absolutely amazing. I would sign on the dotted line right now for 10-2, but 11-1, let's go for it. Why not?
Enjoy the weekend of football, you guys. I think we might have a bit of a snoozer in ours, but enjoy watching some of the younger players play. You also get a couple of funny things. You get to see Spencer Petras, possibly, who was that great quarterback over in Iowa with that just explosive offense under the Ferenc father-son tandem that's now over at Utah State. And then we might, if we're lucky, see the pig farmer try to dazzle us with his legs, the self-proclaimed Trojan killer. So we will either way, we're in for some entertainment. All right. Thank you all for being here. If I missed anybody, I truly apologize. I'm just checking one more time to make sure that we got all the super chats. So yeah, let's look for us Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific. That'll be noon on the East Coast for a wrap-up show / call-in show. Oh, no, one more thing I got to do. Sorry. Thank you to... Oh, wow. Thank you for Los Angeles Sports Fanatic, Matt Stark, Arrogant Nation, Rusty, thank you. Nico, Trojan Blade, Preston, Light the Torch Podcast, and Founders Inc. Thank all of you guys for retweeting out the show. Your support of us has been amazing since the very beginning. Thank you for all of our super chats, and thank you for all you guys on a Friday night being here. Appreciate you all very much. We'll see you guys all on Sunday. Sunday at what time? At 9? I'm losing my mind now.
9.
Okay, Sunday at 9. All right, fight on. See y'all on Friday. Or sorry, on Sunday.